We're breaking news, we're delivering the truth,
and we're doing it on Getter
every single day.
So don't wait. Download the Getter app now.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome nominee for Director of Voice of America, Kari Lake.
I gotta take this in. You guys look phenomenal. You look great. I know why. We're all sleeping better, aren't we? How many of you are sleeping so much better since January 20th? I curl up every night with the sweetest dreams, and watching what President Trump has accomplished and done in 1 month is so incredible. Every day feels like Christmas Day, and every night feels like New Year's Eve. We got something to celebrate. And I want to thank Matt and Mercy for bringing us all together to celebrate this amazing month that we've had. Hasn't it been great? It's been wonderful. You know, a lot of you know about my life in politics, but before that, I had a 30-year career as an award-winning journalist. I was the voice of Arizona. If you're from Arizona, you know that. And I walked away from a very high-paying job in the corporate news during COVID-19 because I just wasn't willing to lie to the public. We had such lies going out toward the public. And I had to ask myself the question, was this huge paycheck that I was earning worth the cost of my soul? And the answer was no. And that is a question that a lot of people in the media right now and the bureaucrats in D.C. should be asking themselves at this moment. How much is the paycheck? How much is the money worth it? I'm very, very cynical when it comes to the government. It's just how I was raised. I grew up with Ronald Reagan as my president. Anybody else as a kid have Ronald Reagan? And remember his warning? His warning was the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And boy, was he right. But now the tables have been turned. And the 9 most terrifying words for the government are, we're from Doge and we're here to audit you. When Elon and the boys show up, I think they're a little nervous, aren't they? I prefer a hands-off government. Am I alone in that? Hands off. Unfortunately, our government has one hand around our throat, and we're finding out the other hand is in our pockets, and they're robbing us blind. And thanks to Doge, we've learned that our tax dollars are going to pay for luxury hotels for illegals in Manhattan, circumcisions in Mozambique, transgender operas in Latin America. It's terrible. It's theft. And Social Security benefits to 150-year-olds. The only 150-year-old I know is Joe Biden. I mean, this is, and apparently there's millions of them. There's even people that are over 150 that are allegedly getting all of this, these paychecks. So that's just the tip of the iceberg in Washington, D.C. It's really kind of like the D.C. creature is like an animal infested with ticks and parasites. From the work-from-home bureaucrats to the handouts and carve-outs and pork, the entire D.C. economy and the surrounding states thrive off of the freebies. But it's not free for us, the hard-working Americans. We're the ones funding this. Our money is lining these swamp creatures' pockets. We're paying off their friends. We're funding the fake news to broadcast this insane narrative across the globe. It's terrible. And knowing all of this and knowing how the odds have been stacked against us, it makes what happened on November 5th even more of a miracle, right? And we got to thank God for that. We got to thank God for that. We, the people, worked, we rose up, and we said enough is enough. We've had enough of this. And now, thanks to President Trump's radical transparency, we are learning some cold, hard facts about our government. I've never felt more betrayed by the government and, frankly, the media mouthpieces back in the fake news. This is the biggest scandal of our lifetime, the biggest fraud ever perpetrated on humanity, and any real journalist would be dying to cover this story. Unfortunately, we're still surrounded by too many fake journalists out there. Have you noticed they're grasping at their pearls, acting offended that the fraud is being uncovered? They're offended that we would question the bureaucracy that spent money trying to perform sex changes on monkeys, while claiming that FEMA is too broke to help Americans. I'll tell you, the purpose of the mainstream media is no longer to inform us, it's to manipulate us. Have you been following the AP drama? Have you heard about this? It's known as the Associated Press. I kind of think of them as the anti-American propagandists. They're very, very mad about the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, they have no issue with swapping out Kiev for Kyiv, or switching the spelling of a country named Turkey. I didn't even know it was possible to spell that another way. But they have just been horrified by this name change. Remember, these are the same people who didn't want to call riots riots. They wanted to call them mostly peaceful protests. But they will die on the hill of refusing to call that big, beautiful body of water between Texas and Florida the Gulf of America, which is what it is, by the way. And don't get them wrong. They are not making some big principled journalistic stand. It's just fake controversy by a bunch of fake journalists. Where was the AP? And I don't know if they're back there. Where were you, AP, when moms and dads were losing their jobs for refusing to get the untested COVID shot? Where were they? It was crickets. Where were they when moms had to cover their babies' faces with masks? They weren't covering that. Where were they when the boys were in the locker rooms with girls? You know what they were doing? They were actually siding with the people who were perpetuating that insanity on us. They're criminal. They are. They still pretend the 2020 election was the most secure election in all of history. They never even question the impossibility. It's impossible that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. They're still sticking, you gotta give them credit, they're still sticking to their story. But what kind of journalist supports the hiding of 40,000 hours of video footage so that we can see for ourselves what really happened on January 6th? I still want to see that. Don't you want to see that video? They want to cover their narrative. They want to keep their narrative going. A real journalist would never support censorship. Every single time I've stood on this stage with all of you at CPAC, I've told you to turn them off, cancel your subscriptions, just tune them out. And it turns out it actually worked. We rendered the fake news worthless and useless. Only to find out that our government has been propping them up, keeping them alive with tens of millions of dollars of our tax money. It is absolutely sick. They propped them up. So the mainstream media is really just kind of a zombie media right now. There are a bunch of zombie media outlets who can only make payroll if our government funnels millions of dollars to them. It's obscene. Last week, these media zombies mulled around the idea of boycotting covering the White House to support the AP. Did you hear about their idea? They're going to boycott the White House to support the AP drama. That means no more CNN, AP, MSNBC in the press pool. I've got a message for the fake news. Don't threaten us with a good time. We will not miss your stupid questions, okay? Real journalists recognize it is a privilege to cover this moment in American history. It's a privilege. We are witnessing the return of our government to we the people. It is a historic moment with monumental consequences for America and the entire world. It's a golden age in America, and damn it, we deserve a golden age in journalism. And that is why I'm honored that President Trump has appointed me to lead the Voice of America. VOA has been telling America's story to the world for 83 years this Monday. Now, sometimes the coverage has been incredible, and sometimes it's been pitiful. We are fighting an information war, and there's no better weapon than the truth, and I believe VOA can be that weapon. I told President Trump when he called me and asked me to lead the Voice of America that we will focus on accurate and honest reporting. It won't become Trump TV, although I think the ratings would be very high. It won't become Trump TV, but it sure as hell will not be TDS TV. You can find all the Trump derangement syndrome that you want over on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, 60 Minutes, The Washington Post, and The New York Times. The VOA is a soft power for America. Some people have suggested shutting it down. And with all of the corruption, I get it. I totally do, with all the corruption we're seeing. But I believe it is worth trying to save. With a relatively small budget, along with honest reporting, we can spread the values of freedom all over the world and prevent trillion-dollar wars. I'm for that. So as I transition to this next chapter in my life, can we still say the word transition, by the way, or has the woke mob ruined another word for us? There is still unfinished business that I have in my beloved Arizona. Arizona is a mess. It's a mess. Now, President Trump's victory was a blessing, but Arizona remains corrupt and captured. Elon Musk described the government, and I thought this was perfect, as not an apple full of worms, but just a big clump of worms. I know, someone just said, ooh, it is a gross thought, isn't it? Well, Arizona is the same, and we're going to deworm it. For the past 4 years, we have been in a fight mode. And now we are in a win mode. I like this mode. And I will say, people always say to me, Kari, you agree with the president on everything. Surely you have nothing you disagree with. There is one thing I vehemently disagree with President Trump on. We will never, ever get tired of winning President Trump. Never. So CPAC, are you willing to go to work to help President Trump reclaim America? We gotta work. Let's do it. This guy's ready. Let's do it. We're gonna work so we can continue to win. I love you, CPAC. Thank you for the opportunity, and God bless each and every one of you.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
It isn't just an app. It isn't just a social media platform. It's a community.
Download Getter right now.